All right, today we are diving into a tool that could seriously change what it even means to be a software developer. It's called Google Antigravity, and it's built on this wild idea that you're not just a coder anymore, you're a manager of an entire AI development team. So yeah, let's get right into it.
So, look, you're probably already using some form of AI, right? Like a co-pilot. It's great. It suggests code, it answers your questions, it's an amazing assistant. But here's the thing. It's totally reactive. It just sits there and waits for you to tell it what to do. So what happens when the AI stops waiting and starts acting on its own? And this slide right here, this just nails the entire evolution. We are making a massive leap from AI-assisted to agentic. I mean, just look at the difference. You go from a reactive helper to an autonomous actor. Your whole way of thinking has to flip. You stop giving it step-by-step instructions and you start just defining the high-level outcomes you want. You're not managing the nitty-gritty steps anymore. You're just supervising the final results. This is the huge paradigm shift that anti-gravity is all about.
And that right there is the world that Google Antigravity was born for. This isn't just another code editor with a few AI features kind of bolted on the side. No, its entire philosophy is agent first. It was designed from the ground up for this brand new way of working.
So here's the absolute core idea. You got to get this. Anti-gravity doesn't see the AI as a tool. It sees the AI as your team. And that one little change reframes the entire relationship. You're not a lone developer with a really smart autocomplete anymore. Nope. You're now the engineering lead, and you're orchestrating a whole team of super capable AI agents. This quote just perfectly sums up the new workflow. It's all about working at a much higher level of abstraction. Your job becomes defining the what, you let the agents figure out the how, and then you step in to guide the final product. So how does anti-gravity actually make this happen? Well, let's pop the hood and take a look. Okay, let's take a tour of what I like to call anti-gravity's mission control. It's built around this really clever split interface that basically separates two totally different ways of working. You know, the hands-on coding we're all used to, and this new world of high-level agent management. First up, you've got the editor view, and this is going to feel just like home. It's actually a fork of VS Code, so all your muscle memory, your favorite extensions, your keyboard shortcuts, it all just works right out of the box. This is your space for when you really need to get your hands dirty and just dive into the code yourself.
But this is where anti-gravity completely changes the game. It's called the manager view. This is your command center. It's a space that's specifically designed for you to orchestrate and keep an eye on your whole team of AI agents while they're off working in the background.
And get this, from this one single view, you can launch up to 5 agents at the same time, all in parallel. I mean, just think about that for a second. You could have one agent refactoring some old code, another one writing unit tests, and a third one is fixing a bug in a completely different part of the project, all happening at the same time, while you get to focus on the big picture, creative stuff. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Letting a bunch of autonomous agents run loose in your codebase sounds kind of terrifying, right? How do you actually trust them without having to micromanage every single thing they do? This is what people call the trust gap, and anti-gravity has this really brilliant solution for it called artifacts. So instead of making you read through mountains of confusing log files, the agent gives you tangible, real proof of its work. You get these high-level implementation plans so you can check its strategy, you get clean code diffs, you get UI screenshots to actually see visual changes, and you even get browser recordings to prove that everything actually works. It's amazing.
And these agents aren't locked away in some little black box. No, they get access to a full developer toolkit. They can use the editor to write code, the terminal to run commands, and, this is so important, they have an integrated browser so they can actually see and test their work from end to end, just like a human developer would.
All right, now let's talk about the real superpower here. This is the feature that makes these agents truly adaptable. It's a way to capture all of your team's unwritten rules and turn them into reusable tools. It's called anti-gravity skills.
I saw this quote from a user on Reddit and I just love it because it's so perfect. Skills aren't just, glorified prompts. They're specialized, reusable tools that teach the agent how to do specific, real-world tasks your way.
The best way to think about skills is like they're specialized microbrains you can just plug into your agents. This is how you codify all that tribal knowledge. You know, all those little rules that every team has but nobody ever writes down? For instance, you can build a skill that teaches an agent your team's exact multi-step process for deploying to production. And then it'll just do it, just like a senior engineer on your team would. And the whole system is super flexible. You can create what are called workspace skills, which live right inside a specific project's code, and they teach the AI things that are totally unique to that one app. Or you can create global skills in your home directory for useful things like generating unit tests that you want to have available no matter what project you're working on. You know, building one of these skills is actually way more simple than you'd think. It's really just a folder with a couple of things inside. The most important part is this file called skmd. It's a markdown file that's basically the brain. In here, you just write out instructions in plain English, like Step 1, run the linter. Step 2, run the tests with this exact command. Step 3, if everything passes, create a pull request using this title format. It's totally human readable, and it's version controlled right there with the rest of your code.
And here's the really magical part. You don't even have to remember the skill's name to use it. The agent semantically understands what you're asking for in natural language. So you can just type, hey, deploy the app to staging. And it's smart enough to find and load the exact right skill for that job. It's just incredibly smooth.
So okay, we've seen all these powerful features inside Antigravity, from running agents in parallel to creating these custom skills. Now let's just zoom out for a second and see where this tool really fits in the crazy, rapidly changing world of AI coding tools.
This little table gives a pretty good overview. So if your main goal is just to make your minute-to-minute coding a little bit smoother with some inline AI, a tool like Cursor is probably fantastic for that. If you're fighting with a giant, super complex code base, then Windsurf's ability to handle context is an absolute lifesaver. But Antigravity's real superpower, its special place, is parallel agent orchestration. It's built for those times when you need to delegate and manage a bunch of complex tasks all at once.
When you get right down to it, tools like Antigravity are really signaling a deep, fundamental change in what we do as developers. We're slowly moving away from the tactical job of carefully setting up every single domino and moving towards the strategic job of just supervising the final creation. It's a shift from managing steps to managing results.
And what that really means is the core question we ask ourselves every day is changing. It's not, how do I code this anymore? It's becoming, how do I manage my agents to build this in the best possible way?
And that kind of leaves us with a pretty powerful final thought, right? As these agentic platforms become more and more common, that line between being a coder and being a manager is just going to get blurrier and blurrier. It really forces us to ask ourselves, is our main value in writing the code, or is it in directing the AI that actually brings that code to life? Something we're all going to have to think about. Thanks for tuning in.